back to the channel. As you can see, there's a lot going on in here at this point, but pretty much the game plan is to walk you guys through how to do a Wiretuck for a Mazda Miata. So should be pretty straightforward. We're pretty much, give you a sneak peek, we're pretty much already there. But overall, I'm just going to show you how to do it. Quick time lapse for the boring stuff to get that out of the way, and then we'll get into more of the fine nitty gritty details. So this is me for the future. Let's get into it. Okay, not too bad at all. So dash is out. Now we have all the room we need to pretty much tuck everything back here, but also really just drill the holes in the side of the fenders from the inside, probably from the outside actually, but just to find out where we're at on the inside. And then we should be good to do the engine bay tuck from that standpoint. And then we can clean up all this extra gauge wiring that we don't really need anymore since we have the cam gauge, but we'll see. I may keep the temp sensor. Everything else I'll probably get rid of. The boost gauge I'll probably get rid of, and then the AFRs, because now we have the cam lambda, so we'll just use that instead. And then once we get our other piece, which is going to go right here, then we'll be set. So let's keep going, shall we? So at this point, we will go ahead and get our fenders off again, so that way we have that area exposed on both sides. And then, yeah, at least for tonight, I think we'll call it a night, having everything else out already. So that is the challenge, is getting dash out. That was the first goal I wanted to get done, so that's out of the way. Now we can get the fenders off, since it's only going to take a couple minutes to knock that out, and then, yeah, another day. But we already have our hole saw tool to drill a hole in the fenders, so I just got to see how big the actual wiring harness is. So I may Google that, I may look it up, I may just wait till I take it all the way out, but yeah, that's what we're waiting on. So I'll push this inside, so we'll be able to pull it all the way through for all of this, and then this will be empty. We'll basically, once the fender's off, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a side fender here that goes inside. We'll drill a big hole there, pop that out from in there over here, and then run everything in this fender. Anything we need, we'll run it inside, drill another hole, roll it inside, and then we should be set. So we'll do the same thing on both sides, and that way they should clean up tremendously. So look at everything looking like crap now, and then we'll see here in a bit what it looks like later. Alright, so we got everything off fender wise. Our Garage Star fender braces are still holding strong. I know a lot of people usually will come through and do their Wiretuck through this. So they'll just pull it, make this even a little bit bigger, grab everything, pull it through, pull it down there. But because I don't want to see any of this at all, I'm going to take all of this off, move it to the inside, and then it's going to come out in one of these pockets, essentially. I just got to see how much room we have on the inside, and then we'll go from there. But I think I need to take the airbox out in order to get access to one of these corners, and then we'll probably take this off just so we actually have access to doing what we need to, if we're able to. And yeah, we'll go from there. I forgot I broke this bolt years ago, so that probably won't come off, which is unfortunate, but yeah, it's not needed for this. So we'll probably pop this off on both sides just so we have easy access to everything, and then probably go from there. But we'll see. I need to figure out, I need to mark and find out what spacing we have first before I take this off, just because if it's right here, we'll just drill a hole and call it a day. But we'll see. But yeah, I can't wait till all this is cleaned up. There's wires literally everywhere. So I'll be so happy when this is like an empty corner. Also, we'll be doing some stuff with the brake lines, so you'll see that in the future, but first we'll get the wires out of the way, then we'll focus on the brake lines. Okay, we're just gonna remove the airbox anyway, just so we can see what room we actually have to work with, because I don't really want it low in the footwell, I want it a little bit higher, so we'll see where we're at, but I think it's just gonna be this bolt right there, this bolt up here, and I need to take this off. I think there's one further back, but otherwise, yeah, let's get to it. Yep, so 3 bolts, got it out. One up there, one right there, and the one on the edge we talked about. So, and if you don't do this, put these back so you don't lose them if you can. So we'll just put these back in their rightful places, and then we will measure and see what spacing we have left. Okay, using my cell phone as light, as you can see, but back in the corner, that is our wiring harness that we have going on here. And then over here, further, if you'll be able to see it, that corner, that red corner, clearly didn't get to it, but that red corner is where we are probably going to drill the hole out. It looks like a 3-inch hole, could be smaller, but I have a 2.5-inch bandsaw, hole saw that I can use to try and cut a hole, and if we need to make it bigger, we can, but this is literally in the perfect location, so that's cool. I see why people do this, at least on this side. We'll have to see on the other side. I'm assuming it's very similar, if not the same, but yep, here we go. All right, so a new night, going back at it. I pretty much need to, my main focus is to get these wires through the firewall hole, same with the other side. So pretty much gonna try and deepin this side because that's gonna take the most amount of time. And then I need to measure the hole that is all the way down here. That basically has the wire going all the way inside. Just need to measure it to see how big that is, because if it's big enough for if it's 2.5 inches, then we should be good to use the hole saw. I don't have anything smaller or bigger, so hopefully it's 2.5 inches. But we'll basically look at everything. Battery's disconnected, make sure yours is too, but pretty much going to depin all of these or just disconnect them. They all have little push pins to allow them to come out. And then we'll kind of figure out the rest as we go, but yeah, this is the goal. I think if we can depin most of these, we should be able to just take this whole thing outside of the car, and then once we're ready to plug it in somewhere inside. But yeah, that's what we're on to now, so let's get into it. So progress has been made. We've been successful in removing pretty much everything over here, from the connection of the engine bay, injector connections, pretty much everything. So all that's dangling here, we're going to push that through the wall, firewall here, through the little hole. The only thing that'll basically be left will be this, which is, I've separated it at this point, but it is the fuse box. So in order to either get this inside the car, I would need to depin all these wires or cut them and then resolder them. That's a pain in the ass. So we'll see what we end up going through, whether we depin fully or if we, yeah, pretty much what we're gonna do. So that'll be last, but everything else we should be able to push through the firewall, and then we should be set there. So let's at least push that through so we can see how clean this area is. So got everything pulled through all the way. So now we have an empty hole that needs closing, and that is a 3-inch hole. So everything, oh, it just looks chaotic in here. So much stuff in here. So now we basically need to drill a hole to the right. We're not going to do that tonight. We'll do that another day. Now we'll get to the other side and start working on that. And the other side should not be anywhere near as bad because there's less things that need to go back inside of it. So we'll start working on that real quick and get to it. Okay, so we're back and we're going through the process of trying to remove everything from the fuse box itself. So de-pinning it essentially. And the only things I have so far, very small screwdriver and a slightly bigger screwdriver. That's just longer to get to some of the hard to reach places. But so far, let's zoom out a little bit and zoom in. So right here, I've already got it out partially. Well, this is like a retaining clip to keep everything in, and then the wire also has a retaining clip. Fun. So pretty much the easiest way to go about doing it is you'll find the ends is wherever you can find them really. So this one has an end right here and it protrudes a little bit out. So you pretty much, this would sit down, see, right into here, right underneath that little lip. So you just get a screwdriver, push on it, kind of pry it up a little bit, and then it should get above it. You'll have to do the same thing on the back side to do the same thing, and then you should be able to free the retaining clip. The problem with that is that, cool, you think you're done, you can pull the wire out. Well, the wire, like I said, has a retaining clip inside as well. So you'll have to pop the fuse off. Zoom out. Stand by. Okay, pop the fuse off. Place that somewhere, don't lose it. Make sure you know where it's supposed to go back to. And you will basically look inside and you'll see, because that was right there, we're on this bottom edge. Already forgot it. So we're right here. So the one we're trying to get out, because there's only one wire, is the one that's on this far right edge right here. This is like a, I don't know, blinking plate essentially, or the grounding spot. So you'll pretty much come in here, you'll see that little white piece. Not relevant. That should be the retaining clip that's already pulled out. So you shouldn't have to worry about that. But the clip itself, you'll have to get from the backside, because you'll see there's a little, and we can look right here, that little black part right below. You would think that that goes in and then it just pushes out and you're good. Well, it needs to go from the backside, and that's the annoying part. So you pretty much need to go behind it, push on it, and then it should go up. So that way it should relieve the pressure on this and you can pull it all the way out. All right, so latest discovery. What I would suggest is if you have a screwdriver that is small, or you have one that you can sacrifice, try and get it super sharp. Just, oh my goodness, the focus on this bad boy is atrocious. Try and get it to, all right, let's try this again. If you have a screwdriver you can sacrifice, just try and make the edge like razor sharp to a degree, so that way you're able to come in here and you can actually, instead of doing it from the back, to make it a little bit easier, you can push it from the front. So you'll basically get underneath that lip, that black lip that's right there at the bottom, and you will push it up. So that way you can push the pin all the way out. You should be able to do that for, I would assume, all of them, but I'll keep you posted as I keep moving forward. And please take pictures of what you have set up. I have my own pictures, take your own, just to make sure it's easy for you to put everything back. It's only gonna go in one way if you keep these retaining clips with it, because you should be able to take the retaining clips out, take the actual wire out, and then take all that inside, would be my guess. But again, never done it. We'll go through it, figure it out together, but definitely try and make some pictures if you can. Take reference of where everything is, inside, outside, all the orientations of everything as best you can. So that way when you go to plug everything back in, because remember, it's gonna be disconnected through and through for everything. Unless you label it, I'm not doing that, but that way you at least know where everything went before, so. Okay, cool. Successfully got 2 pins out, and they're different styles. So if you're looking at it like you normally would, sitting in an engine bay, right? Then you go to flip it and rotate it. There's this hidden corner that you will just need to pop this piece off so you actually can access and see what's going on, have a better grip on pulling stuff off. You probably don't even need to do that, but it seemed like it made it easier for me to visualize and see what I'm trying to hit. But yeah, so once you take that off, then you can actually rotate this and flip it over. And then within there, let's see if we can get it. So that little black pin right there is what's holding the whole thing in. So each one has that little black pin that you will actually access from this side, once again, from the top. So you'll go in through this way, and there's a little pin, you can see it right there, a black pin, that you will basically pry to your left. You'll pry it basically one direction in order to just slide the pin out. So you should be able to do that for, I would assume, once again, assuming all of these that need to actually come out. Just again, please take a picture and then reference it when you go to assemble this again. And just to clarify, it is like a snap in versus out. So I know I can't capture it while I'm doing this, but got the other one out. Once you snap it the opposite direction, so let's look at it again. If you're looking at it and you're trying to get the pin, let's say here on the right side out, there's the pin in there, you're gonna push it to the left. And then you'll hear it click. And once you hear the click, then you should be able to pull the pin out. If you're on this side and you're going to the right, you're basically going to, or the pin's on the left side and you're trying to go to the right, you'll just, yeah, hit that right side and the pin should come out with ease. And then to give you more clarity on it, that little piece right here on the edge, that is the part that is clipping it. So you just need to push it through that or the opposite direction so it's pried out, and then you should be able to slide every one of these out, which is a very beautiful thing. Thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was, just trying to figure it out. And I don't see any videos, documentation on how to properly remove it. So far so good. Yeah, looks like everything's working out. For the big fuel pump wiring, you basically need to you'll see that one right there, little white piece. That's what needs to come out. The other piece needs to come out, and there's one on this side. So you just need to push it inward and then push it out, and it should come out. And yeah, that should take that whole section out. We've added a new player. Kind of makes it sense just to get in there and then push this with this. And then from the back side, you'll use the flathead to try and pry it up, because it seems like it slides up a decent amount, but it just won't go without, there's some pressure on the top, and a flathead won't really fit in that one. So, yeah. All right, another update to get this one for that fuel pump. You need to, this side, easy peasy, not bad. There's nothing to do with this one in the center. Back here, pain. You need to be really careful because you could just snap this whole backside off. But again, sharp screwdriver, or you can get one of the de-pinning tools, I'm sure will probably work too. Putting it in there and then essentially turning it while you're on the front of that. So that way it looks like this. Zoom in. Looks like this, and you're pushing on it and you're rotating it so it actually goes in. So then you can just keep prying it, and then you should be able to pull up and kind of pry it back, and then it should just come up and out for you. All right, and in addition to moving and removing these pins for the fuel pump, and I think a couple other spots that are on here, you will need to, you'll see right inside, there are pins inside that basically just need to get pushed down. While you're pushing down, continue pushing the other connector piece out, and it should slide out through the back. All right, now that we got that one out, we're gonna move on to this one over here, and then we'll get these last ones here. But for this one, that's on the back now, they have the same clips as the other ones, minus those two. But you can see the white, once again. We're gonna try and use those to get us out of here, and then we'll do what we always do. Like, well, not what we always do. We'll do what we did last time to get these same types of clips out. Assuming the ones that are a little different, we'll probably just need to push on one way or another, so we'll find out soon. All right, so best way to do this one, is out of the way, that white one right there, is literally just go in from above. You see the white line? You will just use your sharpened flathead and push down and lift up, and then push forward. So that way it will lift just high enough for each one of these to be off of the little lip that's right there, and then you can just push it up all the way. So, and the black one, the first one we started with, no need to take it out of both, just take it out of one, because it's just attached to this as its own wire. So no need to take it from two, just to put it back in. As you can see, some of these come out easier than others, but it's all good. That's how it goes. So we'll keep pushing through the rest of it. All right, cool. So ignore the fan noise. It's stupid hot out here, but essentially we used this tool, which comes, this is the depinning tool, but this is the one I ended up using. As you can see, it's probably a little bent overall, but in order to get these bad boys out. Yeah, so in order to get this out, you pretty much, let me get the other one that's a little bit better. I've been tugging on this one for a while, as you can tell. This one came out pretty smooth and clean, which is lovely, lovely. Okay, so for this, I just stuck it straight into the pin itself, and then what's holding it in are the back pieces. What it appears back here, and, oh, not back here, sorry, right here. So getting in there and basically just trying to lift it up, and then pulling on the actual wire itself to pull it back at the same time. So it seemed to have gotten it out. This was probably the hardest one to get out, honestly, because you can't see anything, but it needs to go in the connector, and that'll allow you to get it out. So push it in. Let me grab the tool again real quick. You will, cool. So looking at it, you'll basically put the pin itself, I do this from my camera, in, push it as far back as it'll let you go, and then that'll get you here, and you'll try and lift up while you're actually pulling out. And for the one on the bottom, push down, same difference. But that is what allowed me to get that pin out. So now, it's by itself. Now we can put this inside the car, and we can start connecting everything back up. So that's going to be it for this one. That's going to be the way to depin your Miata fuse box. So that way you'll be able to get yours pulled out instead of cutting everything, unless you want to cut it. But mind you, this does take a lot of patience to get through. Probably 3 days of trying it for about an hour at a time. So yeah, took a little time, but I think the end result will speak for itself. Because I don't need to cut anything. I don't have to worry about any wires coming undone or any splices coming undone in the near future. It'll just go back to the OEM way, just inside the cabin instead of, you know, in engine bay. So, all right. So, no fuse box over here, but honestly, easiest thing you could do if you wanted to depin this would be to take the whole harness out from the back of the car. So it pretty much will run all, that's what runs up to your battery, all the way back here, and then connects up to everything. It's gonna route up a little bit, and then it's basically gonna go right below this. There's a little hole that's under there. Let me show you with the light. Okay, that big hole right there is what runs up into the cabin to your battery. That connects right there at the 10 mil, and it also connects right there with a 10 mil. It also is grounded, turn this over, right there with a 10 mil, and then runs all the way up. The PPF connects to your transmission and goes up further to the engine bay. So with that said, you pull it from the engine bay, you just have to disconnect it from the starter, your oil pressure sensor, and then your alternator, and you can just take the whole thing out this way, which is way easier than depinning. So don't depin. Live through my misery. So again, if you don't want to depin, it took me maybe like 10-15 minutes to take that whole wiring harness out. Way easier than depinning. Way easier. Then you don't have to risk messing stuff up when you go put it back together, or breaking a pin, or any of that. Just take the whole wiring harness out, pull it back inside the car, route it that way, save yourself the time and the headache. But like, comment, subscribe, man. Catch you on the next one.